Raise your fists together. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Red and yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. Everybody is somebody. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop bullying. Save the children.
Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sonia Whitaker, National Education Policy Director for Push for Excellence. And on behalf of the Rainbow Push Coalition, we'd like to thank you so much for giving of your gift of time and joining us here on our Saturday morning forum. We'd like to thank Word Network for bringing you to us and us to you. And yet we recognize that there are many of you who are watching us now on Facebook Live. And for the many of you who are watching us on Facebook Live, we want to ask that you like our page. And for the many of you who prefer to watch us on YouTube Live, we'd like to ask that you subscribe to our page so that you may gain immediate access to all of the content that we have in store for you. And speaking of content, we can't do this without you. We need your support. And we've made it really easy for you to give. In fact, you can choose from one of 3 different options. You can simply pick up that cell phone of yours and text the word PUSH to 41444, or you can take that same cell phone and hold it to the QR code on your screen and give right on the spot. Or if you prefer, you can simply go to our website at rainbowpush.org and click on the donate button. Now, whatever you do, do not move, sit still, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back because the push is on.
A father is someone who wants to catch you before you fall, but instead picks you back up, brushes you off, and lets you try again. A father is someone who wants to prevent you from making mistakes, but instead lets you go your own way, even when his heart breaks in silence when you get hurt. A father is someone who holds you when you're sad, criticizes you when you break the rules, shines with pride when you succeed, and even has faith in you when you fail. That's my father, God, of course. Happy Father's Day, God. When I think about my people, I get all fired up inside, and the rage of generations moves me like a rising tide. I've seen the proof of hatred, men lynched or left for dead. A stain assaults my memory. All the blood we shed. Someone must do something, and there is no better time. So I'll reach down in my soul for strength to speak my mind. I'll travel north and south and speak to all who listen. There ain't a man who can shut me up, so lock me in prison. I'll put my thoughts on paper and make clear my demands, which is our due, our rights, and our native land. I'll stand before the masses, and I'll try to make it plain. I am an American, and you will call me by my name. And I won't plead this, not just for me, but for all my people, everywhere, yearning to be free.
What what does Juneteenth mean to me? It's a reminder of the courage, the ability, and the resilience of Black people to find joy in the midst of a very difficult situation and be able to tap into their humanity and celebrate their newfound freedom. But it is also a reminder that justice delayed is also justice denied. And so while the Emancipation Proclamation took in effect January 1st, there were months later before Blacks found out about it on the plantation in Texas. However, they created a space to celebrate in which we now commemorate each year. And so those of us that believe in freedom know that we have to stand now, and that justice delayed is justice denied. That's why those who believe in freedom shall not rest until it comes. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me, over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Happy Juneteenth.
Well, this is a special weekend for all of us, but in particular, it's special for African Americans because it's Juneteenth weekend. And I know some of you are already cranking up the grill, powering it up, depending on what kind of grill you have. But Juneteenth is not about barbecue as much as it is about how we look at our freedom. How did we get notified that we were free? I know you remember Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and we celebrate that on January 1st of every year because that's when the announcement was made. But if you can think about slavery, if I am a plantation owner, I'm not going to tell my slaves they're free. I want to keep them and work them as long as I could. And they didn't have social media, they didn't even have telephone. And so the communication system was very slow. And so several states in the South would not tell their slaves that they had been freed by this proclamation for months afterwards or years afterwards. And so the slaves that were in Texas did not know till June 19th. And so and they called it Juneteenth. They began to celebrate freedom. And that's why as you look at the Rainbow Push Convention this year, we're looking at the journey from freedom to equality, what it took to even get the idea that we're free to worship wherever we wish, to attend school wherever we want, to have the ability to earn a living and get equal wages for equal pay. I mean, all of these things, have a right to vote. That did not happen when freedom was announced. We still are fighting for voting rights. We're still fighting for economic justice. We're still fighting for educational equity. And so even though the freedom was delayed, equality is even more delayed. And so that's why we want many of you to join us at this year's Rainbow Push Convention as we move from freedom to equality, as we look at that journey and look at the progress we've made, and then we'll be talking about the challenges we have going forth. This is going to be the most powerful convention we've had in decades, and we want you to be involved, starting with Saturday. We'll look at 84 and 88 presidential campaigns of Reverend Jackson. What were they like? What did we accomplish when he ran for president? How did that impact us politically, economically, and educationally? What did it do for us, for the ordinary person, the working person? What kind of changes resulted as a result of those two presidential campaigns? And then what happened at the city level? How many more Black elected officials do we have in cities, counties, and states across America? How many more African Americans are now in major positions in corporate America? How have we improved our ability to be suppliers, not just consumers? What is it that we have done so far as we look at 2023? But then as we think about 2024, where are we going? How do we look at these states across the country that have a states' rights agenda, that are restricting the ability of schools to decide what children can and cannot, students can and cannot read? What do we think about the removal of African American writers from certain school systems and banning books across the country? How do we feel about that? We're going to talk about what policy changes need to be made. When we look at labor, are we getting our fair share? How have labor rights improved over the years? This convention is serious, and even as we look at the legal challenges, I know you're wondering about former President Trump's indictment. What does that mean? How is it going to look for 2024? Well, what's more important is, how is it that you and I don't focus on voting for U.S. senators, and yet those people appoint federal judges based on the nominations of the sitting president? And you have the judge that will hear Trump's case in Florida is one of a Trump appointees to the federal bench. What does that mean? So we'll be looking at all of that. We're going to talk about agriculture and its impact on small cities across the country. What's happening in educational institutions. It's just so much we're going to talk about. And then we have the Women's Luncheon. It's going to be an amazing international Women's Luncheon as we look at the struggle women have had, the journey women have had from freedom to equality. When do women get the right to vote, and what happened after we received the right? And then for women of color, when do we get the right to vote? Because it didn't all happen at the same time. What is the glass ceiling? What women have broken through pieces of glass, and where is the ceiling today? We're going to talk about all of that. You do not want to miss this convention. Bishop Grant is going to tell you a whole bunch of other stuff that's happening as we look at our journey from freedom to equality. And we want you to register today. $35 is registration. Every meal function is $150 per meal. And so we want to make sure that you're a part of this year's convention.
Are you a rising sophomore, junior, or senior in high school? Well, we're excited. We're doing an HBCU tour. Yes, Push Excel. And if you haven't been on one of our tours, you have not been on an historically black college or university tour. We don't only go to colleges, we go to corporate sites as well as introduce you to cultural sites. So we want your families to be involved. We want your communities to be involved. And this is like a tour like you have never visited and gone on before. Please visit us at www.pushexcel.org for more information. And guess what? Calling all Greeks, calling all HBCU Tour Push Excel Rainbow Push alum, calling our community and clergy. We want you to be a part of this process. We are sending these students off right. So please go on the website, give us a call at Rainbow Push, find out what's going on, because you do not want to miss this tour. When is it? It is July 22nd through 29th. So next month, make sure that you get on the bus. But call us soon. There are workshops that you don't want to miss.
One day, while hiding in the kitchen, Charlotte Brooks overheard a life-changing secret. At the age of 17, she'd been separated from her family and taken to William Nealon's Texas plantation. There, she was made to do housework at the violent whims of her enslavers. On that fateful day, she learned that slavery had recently been abolished, but Nealon conspired to keep this a secret from those he enslaved. Hearing this, Brooks stepped out of her hiding spot, proclaimed her freedom, spread the news throughout the plantation, and ran. That night, she returned for her daughter, Tempe. And before Nealon's spiteful bullets could find them, they were gone for good. For more than 2 centuries, slavery defined what would become the United States, from its past as the 13 British colonies to its growth as an independent country. Slavery fueled its cotton industry and made it a leading economic power. 10 of the first 12 presidents enslaved people. And when U.S. chattel slavery finally ended, it was a long and uneven process. Enslaved people resisted from the beginning by escaping, breaking tools, staging rebellions, and more. During the American Revolution, Vermont and Massachusetts abolished slavery, while several states took steps towards gradual abolition. In 1808, federal law banned the import of enslaved African people, but it allowed the slave trade to continue domestically. Approximately 4 million people were enslaved in the U.S. when Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Lincoln opposed slavery, and though he had no plans to outlaw it, his election caused panic in southern states, which began withdrawing from the Union. They vowed to uphold slavery and formed the Confederacy, triggering the start of the American Civil War. A year into the conflict, Lincoln abolished slavery in Washington, D.C., legally freeing more than 3,000 people. And 5 months later, he announced the Emancipation Proclamation. It promised freedom to the 3.5 million people enslaved in Confederate states, but it would only be fulfilled if the rebelling states didn't rejoin the Union by January 1st, 1863. And it bore no mention of the roughly 500,000 people in bondage in the border states of Delaware, Maryland, Kentucky, and Missouri that hadn't seceded. When the Confederacy refused to surrender, Union soldiers began announcing emancipation. But many southern areas remained under Confederate control, making it impossible to actually implement abolition throughout the South. The war raged on for 2 more years, and on January 31st, 1865, Congress passed the 13th Amendment. It promised to end slavery throughout the U.S., except as punishment for a crime. But to go into effect, 27 states would have to ratify it first. Meanwhile, the Civil War virtually ended with the surrender of Confederate General Robert E. Lee on April 9, 1865. But although slavery was technically illegal in all southern states, it still persisted in the last bastions of the Confederacy. There, enslavers like Kneeling continued to evade abolition until forced. This was also the case when Union General Gordon Granger marched his troops into Galveston, Texas on June 19th and announced that all enslaved people there were officially free and had been for more than 2 years. Still, at this point, people remained legally enslaved in the border states. It wasn't until more than 5 months later, on December 6, 1865, that the 13th Amendment was finally ratified. This formally ended chattel slavery in the U.S. Because official emancipation was a staggered process, people in different places commemorated it on different dates. Those in Galveston, Texas, began celebrating Juneteenth, a combination of June and 19th, on the very first anniversary of General Granger's announcement. Over time, smaller Juneteenth gatherings gave way to large parades, and the tradition eventually became the most widespread of emancipation celebrations. But while chattel slavery had officially ended, racial inequality, oppression, and terror had not. Celebrating emancipation was itself an act of continued resistance, and it wasn't until 2021 that Juneteenth became a federal holiday. Today, Juneteenth holds profound significance as a celebration of the demise of slavery, the righteous pursuit of true freedom for all, and a continued pledge to remember the past and dream the future.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the Acting National Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition, and this is State of the Movement. You know, this weekend is a very historic and high time of reflection, recognition, and reverence as we embrace the legacy of Juneteenth. Imagine, if you will, not hearing the news, not getting the notification, and intentionally being misinformed that your time of slavery and servitude has been over for quite a while, and yet you continue to serve in the state of abuse, atrocity, and human degradation. As we approach this weekend, we should be reminded of the suffering, the sacrifice, the sweat equity that thousands of Black people gave, both life, blood, and heritage, during the slave era, while others want to erase it and deny it by banning books, by coming against critical race theory, and not reckoning with the reality. It's not so much as we are learning what we have done, it is also learning what has happened to us. This weekend can be significant as we use it to bring about a sense of reconnectivity, a sense of reunion, and a sense of recognition in both pain and praise that we now have an opportunity to lift up the voices of these unsung heroes who not only suffered but now deserve to be celebrated because we too have an opportunity to tell their story. It is a part of the legacy and the DNA here at the Dr. King's Workshop, the Rainbow Push Coalition, under the leadership and legacy and lifelong living of Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson, to teach, to impart, to instruct, to educate and enlighten us to the need and the importance of us valuing our heritage. And so all over America, this weekend in particular, we have an opportunity to not only celebrate Juneteenth, but lift up the heritage of Black fathers, men who have stood in the gap to be providers, to be sustainers, to undergird our communities and our families. What a tremendous opportunity we have culturally to make a statement, to raise a standard, and to cause our ancestors to applaud us for carrying on the legacy of civil rights and social justice. All over America, when we consider we've lost 400,000 businesses since the pandemic, and yet we've survived inflation, we've survived the insurrection, we've survived so many attacks on our communities, and yet our resilience, the reservoir of our courage, is undaunted. And so I urge you this weekend to shine the light and lift up your voice and remember those who not only gave some, but gave all they had. This is State of the Movement.
Greetings. My name is Bradley, and I will recite Special Hero, a poem by Christina M. Carson. When I was a baby, you would hold me in your arms. I felt the love and tenderness keeping me safe from harm. I would look up into your eyes and all the love I would see. How did I get so lucky? You were the dad chosen for me. There is something special about a father's love. Seems it was sent to me from someplace up above. Our love is everlasting. I just wanted you to know that you're my special hero, and I wanted to tell you so.
Good afternoon. My name is Jean-Baptiste Mitchell, and I'm 4 years old, and I'll be reciting a poem entitled Special Hero by Christina M. Carson. When I was a baby, you used to hold me in your arms. I felt the love and tenderness, keep me safe from harm. I looked into your eyes, and all the love I would see. How did I get so lucky? You were the dad chosen for me. There is something special about a father's love. Since you were sent to me from someplace up above. Our love is everlasting. I just want you to know that you're my special hero. I want to tell you so. Yay.
Welcome to Spotlight on Education. I know usually I'm here with Dr. Sonia Whitaker. Well, we want to focus on STEM today, and I want you to see and hear from, I think he's the most creative, visionary, STEM person that I have ever met. I mean, he's just a guru as it relates to STEM. He thinks of it all day long. He skateboards. He taught STEM in kindergarten. He has been developing science, technology, and engineering and math at a level that a kindergartner to a college student can really appreciate it. And this year, Bernard Key is having us do something that's really exciting. Everybody knows NASCAR is coming to Chicago. Well, what are we doing as it relates to NASCAR?
Oh, well, thank you, Pastor Wilson. And I tell her all the time that if she thinks I'm a genius, innovator, that's a low bar. But I've been working with automotive engineering in a STEM capacity to teach kids and adults about the career paths. So I came up with this radio control racing that evolved into a whole esports racing curriculum as well as a career
So the radio
path.
car, what does that mean?
Radio control cars, taking 1/10 scale cars, for example. And
These little cars that...
Little cars, radio control cars. They have different scales, 1/18 scales, 1/10 scales.
What that mean? Size of the car?
The size of a scale.
So you have a little car and a big car like this?
You have a 1/10 scale, you need 10 of those cars to make the length of a real car.
Oh, okay.
1/24 scale. And those are some of the math concepts that I teach my students.
We're gonna have one of those radio car races at Push on Saturday,
Yes.
July 15th?
Yes, we are. We're going to have a huge network of dads, youth, women that do what's
So
called...
dads and mothers?
Yes, mothers that do what's called RC's bashing.
RC
bashing, yes. Every weekend, every Saturday, 50 to 100 of us meet at River Oaks, and we run our cars from midnight to 4 in the morning.
We're not doing that at Push. What are you doing at Push?
At Push, we're going to have those same people that are enthusiasts come out, and they're going to race and showcase their cars.
So you will have already seen NASCAR by then, July 15th. But on July 15th, we're going to be out on the front of Push, 930 East 50th Street, right on Drexel. And you're going to see our radio racing, right?
Yes, radio control car racing, and you're going to see some really cutting-edge stuff. For example, you're going to see drones following cars. You're going to see drones capturing live images and streaming the competitions from drones.
Oh, so you mean to tell me we got the drones that are going to cover our race?
Yes, cover our race as well as give us aerial shots of our concert, our performers.
Everything.
Everything.
So
people spilling barbecue on their bibs.
So this is why you want to be at Push on July 15th, because we're going to be doing radio car racing. And everything's not outside. I thought we were going to do NASCAR racing.
Well, we're going to do the esports inside with our girls who I'm grooming.
It's not just girls.
Well, no. What I say girls because I'm leading this charge to bring more black women and brown women into the industry of esports.
Oh, boy.
So I developed a iRacing esports team for girls and boys. But I'm going to have my girls.
The girls are winning, as a matter of
Yes,
fact.
and I have more girls interested in iSports, iRacing, esports than the boys. The boys just want to play Madden, 2K, which is basketball and football. The girls want to be more technical and do racing. And so I thought, I got coaches, I got a marketing team. I could build a professional esports all-girl team. I even got fashion designers that want to pimp them out, just like a soccer team or a basketball team.
So here's the thing. When he says pimp them out, it's the uniforms, it's the caps. We want to have racing teams. So your fraternity, your sorority, your Jack and Jill, your block club, your company may want to sponsor a team for this esports racing this summer, and we're going to start with our teams getting in gear July 15th, right here at Rainbow Push headquarters. Push Excel is sponsoring, what you call it, iSports, esports?
Esports. Push Excel, STEM City, Chicago, esports tournaments, league play, as well as pop-ups.
And so if you are interested in having a team, it may be the Leaders Network on the West Side, it may be your church team, it may be your sorority fraternity, it may be your missionary group.
Small businesses.
Small businesses. You want to market your business, you probably want to sponsor one of these teams. If you want to be a part of that, call us at 773-373-3366. We're not just teaching them how to play a game, we're teaching them how to make the games, how to market the games, how to...
Oh yeah, the whole workforce development and setting up the entertainment functionality. The lights, cameras, production, marketing. It's a whole career that our kids are gonna learn how to participate in. So it's not just playing video games or racing cars. This is a career path opportunity.
So we're gonna show you on the screen what that might look like. We'll show you these sim cars that look like they're driving real cars. They in fact are virtual. They're driving virtually. They're in the race virtually, and they learn, what do they learn in terms of engineering?
Oh, everything from AR, VR development, metaverse development, Unity game design, which is the standard software that's used in movies. For example, people think that when those Fast and the Furious movies are real cars. No, those are computer-generated cars created in Unity. And STEM City Chicago, we have a workforce development curriculum that's free that we're going to be offering our students and adults to learn the skill set.
So I don't want you to know everything. You have to come register for the Rainbow Push Convention. Meet us here Saturday, July 15th. And your child, ages, what are the ages?
All ages.
All ages. From kindergarten through high school.
Grown people.
We're not having grown people. We're going to have kindergarten to high school, kindergarten to college. We want your young person to participate in our STEM program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Push Excel's goal is to inspire students to strive for excellence in education in spite of personal, family, and community challenges that they might experience. How do we do this? By advocating for educational policies that guarantee equal funding for all students without regard to race or economic standing. By engaging parents, students, and teachers in pursuing high-quality education and striving for educational excellence at every level. And by forging partnerships with community-based and public sector stakeholders in education. Now, Push Excel is a national model program with the purpose of connecting principals, parents, popular personalities, and students in a bond and to support students at every level on the educational ladder. Now, we want you to become a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition and Push Excel. Your annual membership can help us to change policies that impact students, colleges, and universities all around the country. So step up and sign up today. Membership is only $35, and if you're a student or a senior, $15. Just go to our website, rainbowpush.org, and push join to become a member or push donate to support the Push Excel program. You can also text the word Push Excel, that's PUSHEXCEL, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give us any amount that you feel comfortable giving or call us at 773-256-2775. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you. And remember to keep hope alive.
It's summer camp time. Get excited, young people, families, everybody, right here in the Chicagoland area. We're inviting you to Push Excel to be a part of our fun summer camp. Now, this is not only just fun, it's not only just culture, it's not only just academics, but this is a STEM camp. So we want you all to come out, get excited about this STEM and sports camp. Yes, we do it every year, but this year we've put a twist on it. So we have a 3-week workshop. This is a 3-week workshop camp that will run Monday through Friday, and it's gonna run from the dates of July 12th through July 30th. All day for 3 weeks, your child will be a part of workshops that include sports from soccer to lacrosse workshops, They're gonna learn how to model. They're going to learn how to do arts activities, arts in motion, arts in music, painting. So this is a customized sports camp. And then there's a STEM City. They're gonna be able to get a part of, do some of our virtual activities, our music and our virtual STEM activities. So this is going to be a workshop camp that you do not want to miss. Please stay tuned and go to the website at www.pushexcel.org to be a part of that special 3-week summer workshop camp. Then you can also participate in our normal 6-week camp. Now this is a 3-day camp. This camp will run on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And we want all of our young people to participate. Your families that do not have something going on in those days, we don't want you sitting around the house. We don't want you being bored. We want you to come and be a part of STEM City. We want you to be a part of these sports and these field trips and these activities that we have planned this summer. That camp is gonna run from July 7th all the way through the end of the summer, which is August 11th. So come be a part, join us at www.pushexcel.org, register your child, or you can even stop by to Rainbow Push to register your child for the summer camp. We're gonna have lots of fun. You don't wanna miss it.
You know, Juneteenth is something that's been around since June 19th, 1865.
On that day, Major General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas. He told the people the war was over and the enslaved were free.
I am Juneteenth. That's our slogan. It means if you're not free, then I'm not free.
Now, as it was back then, the day is a celebration.
It's so cool seeing how many people celebrate this. I didn't even know it was a thing until recently.
I get goosebumps. I almost cry when I see that parade come down the street. It's just beautiful to see how it's grown.
Norman Harris has organized the last 9 Juneteenth festivals. After recent protests over the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, he wants this year's event to be more inclusive.
We've seen how recent events have galvanized communities to come together to fight for justice.
This is what we need, this is what we've been wanting.
But bringing people together can be tricky in the midst of a pandemic.
Trying to still make sure we're maintaining social distance in a way, it's kind of impossible at times.
For Harris, it's simply an opportunity to innovate. On Thursday, the Juneteenth Music Festival will take place virtually.
And we have to continue to find solutions despite what we're going through.
Which is a lot. As they celebrate freedom, those here today know there is still more work to be done.
I'm scared of no change.
I mean, we may not be in physical chains, but I still don't believe that we're free or that we've reached the mountaintop Martin Luther King dreamed about.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the Acting National Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition, and I want to thank you for helping us keep hope alive. You know, right here in Chicago, in just a few weeks, July 15th through the 19th, the most incredible convention in civil rights, the Rainbow Push Annual 56 International Convention, held right here in the great city of Chicago. We have a wide array of activities that we want you to be a part of, and you go to www.rainbowpush.org or any of our social media platforms and become engaged, involved, and enlisted in the fastest growing social justice army on the planet. That Saturday is going to be a reunion of the 88 campaign, the 35th anniversary of Reverend Jesse Jackson's 88 presidential run. Campaign workers and volunteers and staffers and those that manage that campaign will be converging on the city of Chicago as elected officials and policymakers and stakeholders will be coming from around the nation to converge on Chicago as we kick off that grand day, July 15th. On the 16th, at the Apostolic Church, Dr. Byron Brazier, we're going to host our Dr. Clay Evans Gospel Concert, and the talent is going to be second to none, and it's absolutely free. Starting on that Monday, that Tuesday, and that Friday, we'll be at the incredible Rubenstein Forum on the campus of the University of Chicago. We're talking about sessions and plenary sessions and engagement and panels and meal events, all that can be found and discovered at www.rainbowpush.org. Let me tell you something, this is a convention you don't want to miss and you want to be a part of. So go to that site right now, register, get involved, and I'll see you at the 56th Annual International Rainbow Push Convention, Chicago. Here we come.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Global humanitarian.
Evolutionary, revolutionary.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution. Push Excel.
Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope, keep hope alive. Keep hope, keep hope alive.
Left felicitous.
Equality and perseverance.
People united.
Push yes.
I'm Otis Moss III.
I'm Frederick Douglass Haynes III.
And we are here simply just to say to you about an incredible organization known as Operation Push.
Can I be admitted?
No, sir, you cannot be admitted.
Why?
I am not going to serve you because of my race. Operation Push has been here for us even when we didn't know it. As a matter of fact, a lot of the doors that you walk through is because of the fact that somebody knocked those doors down. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
And because of Operation Push, when it started as Operation Breadbasket, after the assassination of Dr. King, they decided to build an organization that were people united to save humanity.
Just what is Operation Push?
Well, Operation Push is a civil economics organization. It's a religious organization with an economic mission. And we believe that the black church is the political and spiritual salvation of our people. And it is to that extent that we challenge churches and churchmen to get involved.
And so we are simply asking those who have been blessed by Push to join the movement.
That's right. And if you do that, I promise you, you are blessing the next generation. And that's what we need, generationally, to bless those who come behind us, just as those before us made sure that we could have what we have. That's Operation Push, pushing doors open. But we can't push if we don't have your hand involved.
We want to turn on the gas. We want to turn on the water. We want to sell the clothes. We want to sell the cars. We want to be men. We want self-determination.
And it was Jesse Jackson who was the young man of the movement and now is an elder statesman. And we've got to make sure that we have another generation that will be pushing forward, another generation that will be building an Operation Breadbasket, another generation that will be talking about new economic strategies for those who are poor.
And ensuring that we are never politically disenfranchised. I hope you already recognize that there is a movement afoot to rob us of what we fought so hard for and shed blood for, and that is the right to express our voice through voting.
If blacks vote in great numbers, progressive whites win. It's the only way progressive whites win. If blacks vote in great numbers, Hispanics win. When blacks, Hispanics, and progressive whites vote, women win. When women win, children win. When women and children win, workers win. We must all come up together. We must come up together.
We need you in Rainbow Push to make sure we are politically empowered and enfranchised.
There is no other organization like Rainbow Push, and we encourage you to make sure that you join and financially support. If we don't support it, no other organization will. It is our duty, it is our job to support our organizations.
We got to do it. Grassroots organization, hitting the streets and challenging those in the suites. That's Operation Push.
I like that. I'm Reverend Otis Moss III.
Hey, I'm Frederick D. Haynes III. He's rubbing off on me.
Make sure you join Operation Push, Rainbow Push, today.
Keep hope alive.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the Acting National Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition. And I want once again to make an appeal to you, July 15th through the 19th, our international convention held right here in Chicago. What a marvelous opportunity it is for you to partner, for you to join, and for you to participate. So many activities. It's the 35th anniversary of Reverend Jackson's maiden voyage into politics, running to be the president of these United States. And from 84 to 88, the landscape of not just the DNC was shifted, but our whole entire political process was infected and affected by Reverend Jackson's cause to bring a big tent to the process, to involve, include, and engage in a political apparatus, mobilizing the minority to become a political majority. That's what that coalition was all about. We'll kick this convention off on July 15th, and legislators and elected officials and policymakers will convene right here at Dr. King's workshop. What a tremendous opportunity it's going to be that day to not only talk about what has been and what is, but we will answer the question of what shall be. We want to thank Al Sharpton for bringing his show here live to Chicago that weekend. And then at the Apostolic Church of God, Dr. Byron Brazier, we will host a phenomenal gospel concert in honor of Dr. Charles G. Hayes and Archbishop Lucius Hall, both from Chicago. And of course, we're lifting up the legacy of Dr. Clay Evans and the Fellowship Church of Chicago. Monday and Tuesday will be at the Rubenstein Forum on the campus of the University of Chicago. You can go to our website right now, www.rainbowpush.org, and you can click the convention tab and get the schedule as is. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We have an international delegation that spans the globe that will be convening right here in the city of Chicago. We'll be talking about the critical issues of health, employment, and investment. Our amazing Push Excel Gala will be that Monday. Tuesday will be business, faith, and labor. And we'll close out on Wednesday with the most phenomenal International Women's Luncheon. Now listen, the schedule is far too wide and broad for me to go into it in just this moment. I want you to go to www.rainbowpush.org, go to that convention tab. It's right there in the banner. The hotel, the lodging, the transportation, the sessions, the panels, the events are all right there. Or you can scan the QR code on the screen and go there immediately. Registration is only $35. I promise you, you're going to come to the conclusion that you're just not paying enough. But guess what? We want to give you more than what you asked for, because that's what we do here at the Rainbow Push Coalition. And I want to thank you in advance, because your contribution, your investment, and your partnership with us help us in so many ways. And so as you become partners with us in our convention, why don't you make us a part of your summer budget? We've got students that are returning that we're going to put to work. We've got programs that we're running around the clock. Our benevolence and humanitarian efforts, and I'll be talking to you real soon about what we're going to be doing for the unhoused and migrants. There are so many ways for you to help us and so many ways for you to become engaged. And yet, if you don't do something, something will go undone. And so I want to make this final appeal to you. You see at the bottom of the screen, you can text the word PUSH to 41444. And I know there's a lot going on, but let me help you with something. There is somebody who needs you, and they need us. And we can and must respond now. So go to www.rainbowpush.org and become a member. But not only that, I need you to use your mobile device and make a contribution and help us ensure that we leave no one behind as we are keeping hope alive.
We're excited to get more people involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. If you're interested in impacting public policies, if you believe in the scholarships that we give to thousands of students each and every year, you can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. For an annual membership of $35, or if you're a student or senior, $15, you can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. How do you become a member? Visit our website at rainbowpush.org and press join. Or maybe you'd like to support us. You can text the word PUSH, that's PUSH, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount you feel comfortable giving. You can also call us at 773-256-2775, or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you.
Dr. Kim, I went to jail with a group of 7 students, July 17, 1960, almost 60 years ago. We never stopped moving. I lost a few of jail cells and death. We never stopped moving. I thought it was time to write some of it down so the older generation can learn how we did and what we did and how global it was. Was speaking about Mandela in South Africa, India, Qatar, about Gandhi in India, here at home. This book tells the story, so please get it and give it to your friends. Read it, let's argue about it, let's discuss it.
Yep, so the book is Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. It's quite a good collection. You know, we've got sermons and speeches from around the globe because you have made such a global impact, not just here in the U.S., but around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to our International Saturday morning broadcast. We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition. When you shop, Amazon gives. Visit Amazon Smile and select Push for Excellence as your charitable organization by starting your shopping at smile.amazon.com.
So thank you for joining us on our Saturday morning forum. Be sure to visit our website at rainbowpush.org so that you can gain information relevant to our up-and-coming annual convention. You'll also want to visit all of our social media platforms so that you can gain additional information about all that we have going on in the organization. And equally important, we appreciate your ongoing support. Feel free to take that cell phone of yours and hold it to the QR code on the screen and give on the spot. Or take that same cell phone and text the word PUSH to 41444. Or you can simply go to our website at rainbowpush.org and click on the Donate button.
We are sanctuary. We are a sanctuary.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Corporate partnership.
Stop the violence. Save the children.
Don't get it. Shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution. Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Alive. Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Alive.
We want to be bridges to end these cultural gaps.
We're going forward. By hope. Not backwards. By fear.